Till now we have seen how to do the resource allocation using the 5-point peer queuing. Now next topic in the chapter 6 is TCP congestion control. Before going to this topic, let me introduce the two definitions. One is the flow control and another is the congestion control. Let me define what is mean the flow control means. If sender is sending more data beyond the capacity of the receiver, then it is called the flow control. Then what is mean the congestion control? If sender is sending the more data beyond the capacity of the network, then it is called the congestion control. Example, node 1 is sending the data, node A. Suppose source B is capable to accept the data at the rate of 100 kbps. Means 100 kilobytes of packet it will receive per second. But if receiver is sending at the rate of 150 kbps, means beyond the capacity of the receiver, then it is called the flow control. This is called the flow control. Suppose this is the network link which is shared between these two, and let me consider the capacity of this link as the 1 Mbps. Means this link will carry the 1 Mbps of data per second, but source A is sending at the rate of 2 Mbps. Means beyond the capacity of the network bandwidth, so it will be considered as the congestion control. And to avoid the flow control and congestion control, sender will maintain the congestion window and receiver will maintain the advertisement window. Let me repeat once again. To avoid these two, sender will maintain congestion window, and to avoid the flow control, receiver will maintain the advertised window. There are three mechanisms by which, and let me consider. Already you have seen that IP layer is it will provide less number of functions as compared to the TCP, and TCP will provide the more number of functions than IP, like flow control, error control, segmentation and reassembly, and end-to-end delivery. That is called the service context. But IP layer will provide only the interconnection between the two different networks. So, but we are avoiding the congestion control mechanism to the IP layer, TCP layer. Why we are not adding this congestion mechanism to the IP layer? Because IP layer has less functionality. Instead, we are not giving to this congestion control to the IP layer. Instead, we are giving this to the TCP layer. Suppose, now consider the situation, you want to control the congestion control hop by hop, that is using IP layer. Node M wants to send data to node B. These are the intermediate nodes I1, I2. Now what we are trying is here, we want to add the congestion control hop by hop, that is in the IP layer. Suppose sender A feels that there is a congestion in router node I1, so it will forward, instead of forwarding more packets here, it will withdraw the packet and it will send here. What we are doing is, we are not avoiding the congestion, we are taking the congestion from this and we are adding the congestion here. So it is not possible to maintain the congestion control hop by hop. So we are always go for the node to node, that is in TCP. You consider the three mechanisms. One is the AIMD, next one is the slow control, third one is the fast retransmission, let me repeat once again. the congestion window is maintained by the sender and advertised window is maintained by the receiver. So here congestion already occurred and we are taking the preventions, means we are taking the steps to avoid to overcome this congestion. So in this first mechanism AIFD, additive increase, multiplicative decrease, means we are increasing the window size by 1, but whenever we feel that there is a congestion in the network, we decrease it by the multiplicative, means we are decreasing fast and increasing slow. And by practically it has been proved that whenever there is a packet loss in the network, it is almost due to the congestion control. So let us consider using one graph. This is the size of congestion window maintained by the sender. Okay. Before this, I will take one example. Whenever sender sends a packet, this is the sender and this is the receiver. Whenever sender sends a packet, if it gets the acknowledgement, means there is no congestion in the network. So it get the acknowledgement back in the AIFD, that is additive increase, multiplicative decrease. We increase the packets by 1. So we have sent one packet, in the next we will send the 2 packets. So if we get the acknowledgement of these 2 packets, means there is no packet loss, which means that there is no congestion in the network. If we get the 2 acknowledgement here back, so we increase by 1. So next we will send the 3 packets. If we get the acknowledgement of all 3 packets, next we will send the 4th packet, like this. Now come to this graph. Whenever first if we increase, it will start by 0. That is no, it will not. It will always start with the 1. Suppose size of congestion control is 1. So it will increase additively. Suppose at time 3, sender will not get the acknowledgement. Means after getting time 1, sender feels that there is a packet loss. Means almost packet loss is due to the congestion. So now sender come to know that there is a congestion in the network. So it will decrease the rate at which he is injecting the number of packets into the network. So it will reduce its packet window size by 2. Now here at time 3, timer was occurred and sender will feel that there is a congestion in network because packet is lost here. So I will decrease the congestion size by 2. So congestion window size is 30. So I will bring it 50. Again from here I will increase additively. So suppose at time 5, timeout has occurred and sender will come to know that there is a congestion in the network. At time 5, timeout has occurred. Now congestion, sender will feel that there is a congestion, so it will reduce its window size by 2. So now what is the window size? That is 50. It will decrease it to the 25. Like this it will continue.